I survived for 100 days on an island in hardcore Minecraft. This island to be exact, and this is what happened. What is going on, guys? My name is Dpurdd and welcome back to another 100 days challenge. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe. These videos take a ton of time to make and the love keeps me motivated to continue making them. Let's begin. Day number 1, I woke up on this island all hairy in a Borat style one piece. I'm confused. I looked around to confirm there was a tree on this island so I could make this challenge happen. There was also a little sugarcane along with 2 cows, 2 pigs, and a little family of turtles. I'll be honest, I'd give all of these animals for a couple of sheep. I don't think I can draft this team though, so I'm working with what I got. From this point, I threw hands with this tree, turned the logs into planks, and then made some sticks along with the crafting table. I used the crafting table to make a pickaxe and then collected 20 slices of stone, which I used to make a pickaxe, sword, and a sweet, sweet hoe. I then decided to investigate this little hole in the ground. This island's kind of small, and this seems like a lead. I spotted some coal in a very dark cave. I grabbed a little bit of the coal, made some torches, and then lit up this little cave area down here. I then grabbed the rest of the coal along with this iron that was sitting on the surface. Without hesitation, I went straight out into the ocean and began adjusting the population. I'm gonna need some food, and it can't be the cows or pigs until I breed those bad boys up. I ended my ocean adventure with 9 raw cod. I got back to the island and began clearing land in search of wheat seeds. I found quite a few and began this little farm area. I started to lose daylight, so at this point I decided to take down towards that little cave area that I lit up earlier. The night of day 1 into day 2 was spent digging down to diamond level and digging out this room. It'll be a storage room for extra building blocks down the road. By day 2, this was done. I took the iron that I had gathered at this point and smelted it down into ingots. While I was waiting for this to smelt, I took towards the ocean to do a little more fishing. I also killed my first hostile mob, which happened to be a drowned. In this time, I also knocked down trees for wood and replanted the saplings. I got back onto the island, cooked my fish, and then made a full set of iron armor. That's right, baby. Day 2 and I've got full iron armor. The rest of day 2 into day 3 were spent mining. I found coal, iron, and redstone. And then I ran into this abandoned mine shaft. Upon entering this mine shaft area, I found my first set of diamonds. I lit up the area, mined those 5 diamonds, grabbed every rail I could, mined some gold and iron, and then I found the actual entrance to the mine shaft was above me. I decided to search it. I went through it very carefully and I lit up everything that I could. I collected every rail and fence in sight. I don't have a lot of wood right now, so this is going to be very useful. I also stumbled upon 2 chests, one with iron, beetroot seeds, and a name tag inside, and the other with Frostwalker book, coal, pumpkin seeds, and rails. Day 4 through the night of day 9 were spent mining. This was a tedious process. I came back to store blocks and make pickaxes many times. In the middle of day 8, I needed wood for sticks, so I went and grabbed some. I replanted the saplings as well. I also went and planted those pumpkin seeds that I got from the mine shaft earlier. By nighttime of day 9, I was done mining. In this time, I gathered 36 diamonds, gold, iron, coal, lapis, and redstone. I then went and crafted full diamond armor and a full set of diamond tools. Day 9 and I've got a full set of diamond gear. I don't want to jinx this, but I'm feeling good. I started out day 10 doing a little fishing. I was pretty low on food and I needed to re-up before doing anything else. I ended this session with a few cod. Nothing to write home about, really. Came back to my island and found a llama along with a couple of leads. No wandering trader around though. I need a friend here. It's pretty lonely. The rest of the day was spent lighting up the island. I mean the entire rest of the day. At this point, my only threat here on the island are these phantoms. And this. I got back to my little hole in the ground with PTSD and smelted my ores down from my mining session. I then began digging out this little hole and turning it into a little home. I worked on this from the night of day 10 until the night of day 15. Throughout this time, I went out, did a little fishing, bred cows for the first time, and sealed up that little hole that the creeper was chilling in. I'll go down and explore that cave later. For now, I just want these animals safe on the surface. Here's a quick tour of what I've come up with for now. It's really ugly and pretty basic, but it'll serve its purpose. Day 16, I shifted gears and set sail. At this point, I need to find a village along with some sheep. I'm focusing on the village first. If I do end up finding a sheep, I can just shear it for enough wool for a bed. I found a village relatively close to spawn, right on the shoreline. Grabbed a villager and brung it back to my island. Then I spent the rest of the day trying to get it into my base. I ended up just trapping it in a boat and building a weird little protective wall around it. Whatever, this place will look good soon. Overnight on day 16, I worked on this little mock-up villager house. I don't think it's gonna look great, but I want to make the outside area of this island a little village. Day 17, I set sail and picked up the second villager that that I needed. This time I raided the village and took some goods. This was a pretty big village and had a brewing stand and several chests. I took 3 beds, 1 for me and 2 for the villagers. Like I said, I'm going to be going back out for sheep, so I'll take care of the other beds that I need down the road. I got back home right before the sunset on day 17 and then worked on this villager house overnight and through day 18 when I slept for the first time since I washed up on this island. Day 19, I decided it was sheep time. I technically just need one that I can auto farm, but the more the merrier. I ended up rowing into this little marsh-like area and coming across one of these portals. I took the loot along with the crying obsidian, a little regular obsidian, and the gold block. The rest of the day was spent looking for sheep again. I came across some chickens and got distracted trying to capture them. I snapped out of it and found a few sheep right near the chickens. I borrowed one from Mother Nature and we set sail towards home as the sun was setting on day 19. I got home with my new friend and put him inside this house for right now. I gotta build him a little pen. So that's what I did the night of day 19. I built this sheep a pen and then chilled until the sun came up shearing him. I only got 5 pieces of wool, but it's enough for 1 more bed, which means I can at least start breeding right now. Day 20 was spent working on setting up the proper villager breeding conditions. I made a bed and placed it in the villager's house. Then I expanded their little farm area, made one of them a farmer, and fed them. Took a little while, but eventually we got magic to happen. Day 21 was kind of a chill one. I spent it trying to lock in a villager so I could begin trading, but nearly by the end of the day I realized that I didn't even have enough sugarcane to begin trading anyway. Day 22 I went out in search of more sugarcane. I found 29 pieces and took back toward home. I planted some and used the rest to make enough paper to lock in my first trade. It's a fortune 3 trade. Considering the fact that I don't have that much sugarcane, I spent overnight expanding this little sugarcane area. Obviously it's all just a work in progress at this point. My next project involves the use of some sort of netherwood. I only need a little bit of it, but I need it nonetheless. With that, day 23 I took down towards this abandoned mine shaft to collect the obsidian. In the middle of this I got attacked by a baby zombie. The thing was kinda cute. I got back home, built this portal, and then put a little fence around it to deter an accident with a villager happening. And then the night of day 23 I went through the portal just to see what my spawn was like. Well, I got kind of exactly what I needed. A forest. A crimson forest to be exact. I went back home to grab some cobblestone so I could build a little safety room around the portal, and then build a little safety room around the portal. After I was done, I collected some of that sweet netherwood and took it back home. I want to enchant my stuff before hanging out in here. I got home on day 24 and spent the rest of the day and into the night gathering the rest of the materials that I need for this project. I'm building an iron farm. These things are so beneficial, especially when it comes to trading with villagers. This iron farm took me until the night of day 36. I gathered the zombie nighttime on day 26. I found it on the island next to mine. It was already wielding an iron sword, which at the time I thought meant that it wouldn't despawn. I grabbed my villagers for this from the desert village that I found earlier on. Like I said, this thing was right on the ocean, so grabbing these things was a breeze. I got back with the first one just to discover that my zombie despawned. On top of this, I ran into another little issue. I had a villager that would not accept a bed as its own. The answer was pretty simple, albeit very time consuming. I had to drop the thing into the ocean, bring it back to my island, let him pathfind to a different bed, and then bring him back to the iron farm, build another rail system up to his cell, and transport him there. All in all, this iron farm took 12 days. Would have been quicker had I not ran into these issues with my villagers, but at this point I have unlimited iron. Day 37, I'm back at this village kidnapping him again. I took it back to my island and converted it into a toolsmith. At this point, with unlimited iron, I need a few villagers that are going to trade for it so that I can get as many emeralds as quick as possible and begin enchanting my gear. With this house getting a little crowded, I decided another house was in order. Before I began, I did a little basic work around the island though. I expanded the sugarcane farm and added some stairs going down to my little underground area. Day 38, I woke up, gathered some wood, and began a new building on the island. This is going to be a blacksmith. I'm modeling it after the old blacksmith that used to spawn in Minecraft. I worked on this until day 39. I think I did a pretty okay job. Nighttime of day 39, I visited the iron farm, placed some ladders down for quicker access, and pulled the iron from my farm. Day 40, I built a grindstone and converted a villager into a weaponsmith. Now I have a toolsmith and a weaponsmith, both of which trade for iron, and I just so happen to have an infinite supply of the stuff. I spent the rest of the day trading back and forth between the toolsmith and weaponsmith. I ended this session with roughly a stack of emeralds. The night of day 40, I dug out little cells for some librarians down in my little underground area. Eventually, I'll build a library up on the surface, but I want the librarians to be immobile for right now. Day 41, I noticed that there was a little issue with the iron farm. Golems kept getting stuck. I fixed it by the morning of day 42, I think? I didn't really do anything, but I stood here and none of them got stuck at all. I think we good. Day 42 and day 43 were spent taking a couple trips back and forth transporting villagers. With 3 of them down in the base, the night of day 43 through day 44 were spent converting these villagers into librarians. These first 3 gave me Mending, Protection 4, and Feather Falling 4 in that order. The night of day 43, I came outside to find a couple villagers had been turned by this zombie. I'm confused as to why they were even out here in the first place. I went back inside to grab some torches, and when I came out, one of them disappeared. Easy come, easy go. I built this roof over the one villager because I don't want the sun to kill him. I'm gonna do that. I don't take kindly to betrayal. The beginning of day 45, I traded with my toolsmith for a bit. I need to stockpile emeralds for enchanting my gear and tools. I then lit up the area where that incident happened, so if a villager catches themselves back here, they won't be turned again. I spent day 46 taking a trip to the desert village and procuring the very last villager. I brought it home, turned it into my new farmer since the old one turned into a zombie, and then I tried to get these villagers to breed, but I think I just missed breeding time. Day 47, I decided to allocate a little more space to real estate and put together another house for a villager. It's only supposed to house 1, it'll probably end up housing like 3 until I get more buildings though. Day 48 and 49 kind of meshed together, but these could pretty much be summed up as aesthetic work. I made some paths, built some walls, did some farming, and just tried to pretty the place up a little bit. The morning of day 50, I decided I needed to up my sheep game. I need a lot more wool. I took out to sea, found this random island with a sheep close to the water line, and did what had to be done. I got home, led it into the existing sheep pen, and then began breeding these things. The rest of the day and overnight were spent shearing sheep, making beds, and stockpiling them right on the beach. I'm gonna relocate them to houses later on, but this is what's gotta be done for now. Day 51 and I'm back at it trading with villagers. Right now I'm just waiting for a couple of them to grow up so I can have a few more librarians down in the bunker, but in the meantime I'm gonna get these emeralds. I traded, did a little farming, and worked on basic aesthetic work until day 54. In the middle of this time, as I was getting the emeralds to do it, I was purchasing protection and mending and placing them on my gear. I've got protection on all my armor, feather falling on my boots, and mending on my pants and chest plate. I also picked up looting for my sword and made a bow. The rest of day 54 into day 55 was spent expanding the farm area. Really, I'm just waiting for these villagers to breed, but I know the wheat and extra farmland is going to come in handy down the road. At this point, I took into the nether, and the rest of day 55 through day 58 were spent tunneling in cardinal directions relative to my portal looking for a fortress. I spent a few days at this. At points, I was tunneling over a fall that probably would have killed me. By the night of day 59, I came across a fortress with a blaze spawner sitting right on top. Just what I need. Had I veered off my path and just started exploring the nether, I probably would have found one sooner, but I'm not worried about that. I went back and worked on this staircase down to the blaze spawner and killed one for 2 rods, prompting the advancement. At this point, I ran out of food though, so I decided to play it safe and head back home on day 61 to re-up. So that's what I did. I got home, did a little farming, bred and killed some cows, and hung out by my iron farm. I need emeralds for trading, so this part's kinda necessary. From this point, I realized that time was getting to be a little bit of an issue, so I built a small villager breeder around these beds to jumpstart the process. This took me until day 63 when I took back into the nether and started farming blaze rods. I farmed until day 65. I switched gears at this point, and from the night of day 65 to day 68 were spent tunneling cardinally in the nether for a warped forest. Again, I could have done this quicker probably had I just went and searched outside of the confines of my tunnel, but I wanted to play it as safe as possible. By day 68, I found exactly what I was looking for, a warped forest. At this point, I can begin farming endermen for ender pearls. I began digging out this room that's 3 blocks high in order to spawn endermen, but then I just decided to take to the surface and look around a little bit. I'm not a big fan of doing this just because of how easy it is to get lost in the nether, especially this nether. The seed is kind of confusing, but I managed it and came out with 23 pearls. I think this is going to be enough for my fight with the ender dragon. With that, I took back home and the next 8 days were spent with my villagers. The breeding process is going pretty smoothly now, which allowed me to fill these cells quickly. In this time, I picked up a few enchanted books for my villagers, including Fire Aspect, Flame, Infinity, Sharpness 5, and Power. I decided to settle with Power 3 and then just level it up to Power 5 due to time. As I was getting these enchanted books, I was throwing them on my weapons and tools. The night of day 77 into day 78, I decided to go explore the nether fortress. The only thing I need at this point is nether wart for potions. I ended up getting pretty lucky and found some in a chest close to my staircase. I got home, planted it in my little base area, and made some glass bottles. The night of day 78, I traded my farmer up to master and purchased some glistening melons off of him for some instant healing potions. Day 79, I made a new diamond pickaxe, grabbed a villager from up above, and began trading for Silk Touch. At this point, I want to go grab some gold nuggets from the nether with Silk Touch to take a couple more gold apples with me. I traded until the night of day 79 when I got a decent Silk Touch trade. I don't really care about min-maxing the price. At this point, I'm basically rich off of emeralds. Anyway, I took into the nether and grabbed some gold nuggets in my tunnels. I left these behind for this exact reason. I ended this session on day 80 with 35 gold nuggets, got home and began smelting them down. While I was waiting for the nuggets to smelt down, I decided decided to explore this little area down here. I've spent 80 days on this island and haven't checked this little area out yet. Meh, I found some coal at least. Day 81, I went ahead and made 4 more apples and crafted up 20 Eyes of Ender. This leaves me 12 eyes for the stronghold and 8 to toss finding the stronghold. I think this is good. I also have 5 pearls on the side just in case I spawn on an island in the end. I had to wait around for my nether wart to start growing. In this time, I did little aesthetic work. If you can't tell, unlike Season 1, Season 2, the aesthetic work is coming second to advancement. While I got a little downtime, I'll knock some out though. I brewed some instant health potions, slow falling potions, and strength 2 potions, and by the night of day 82, I was ready for the Ender Dragon fight. This is everything that I'm bringing with me. Day 83, I took to the surface, threw my first Ender Pearl, and took off. Kind of. The first pearl I threw was glitchy, so I had to throw a second one to confirm. I threw several of these and ended up traveling for the better half of the day. I got to a point right here where my pearls were traveling down, so I decided to head down, and boom, I found a stronghold. Kind of? The generation of this was so scuffed because of this ravine. I broke through where I was standing on top of, directly into the portal room. I carefully made my way down and then barricaded the room. I had to pillar up and destroy the spawner. The floor was being destroyed by silverfish, and directly underneath me was a huge drop into this ravine. I finished the portal, said a prayer, and jumped on through. My spawn was in this little box, which I would consider to be kinda lucky. I dug up and the fight ensued. It was fairly easy and only consisted of pop shots from my bow. I didn't try to press it with my sword since I don't have netherite on anything. I used a bunch of potions and ate a bunch of gold apples, but in the end, it did go smooth. I collected my XP, grabbed the dragon egg, and immediately jumped through the portal. I don't need an elytra, definitely not yet. I'll explore the rest of the end later on. I got home on the night of day 84 and decided to take a snooze. I think I've earned it. Day 85, I collected some wool for my sheep, made a bunch of beds, and took toward the nether. That's right, baby, we're grabbing some ancient debris. I'm not gonna work on this for too long. I want to spice up my island, but first I figured I would get a little bit of debris mining done. I mined until day 87 and had several sketchy encounters. I actually thought I was dead at one point. This far into the game, that would have stung. Day 88, I decided to switch gears and grab some coal. I picked up Fortune 3 off of this villager, made a diamond pickaxe with my last 3 diamonds, and then took down toward my mine. I mined until day 89 and came across a decent amount of coal. Nothing to write home about, but enough to keep torches in my hand and my furnaces powered. The rest of day 89 was spent shearing some sheep and making beds. Now that I've got more torches, it's time to go grab some more debris. I ended this session on day 93 with 4 more debris, smelted them down and turned everything into scrap, and then into ingots. At this point, I've got 4 ingots, which means I can upgrade my entire set of armor. Not gonna do that yet, though. Days 94 through day 100 were spent working on aesthetic work around the island. I built this barn that was so small it despawned my llamas. Anyway, with that, I have survived for 100 days on this island in hardcore Minecraft. I'm going to leave you guys with a little tour of the island and what we've accomplished in these past 100 days. If you want to see 200 days among other content, please like this video and subscribe. The love keeps me motivated to continue making these videos. Thank you so much for watching and take care.
my game and trying to play around with those expectations. It's kind of the most fun part. You need to have exploding arrows. They're actually kind of fun.